this is another update. Have a lot to do today, cover today. Not as much as one of my other mega updates, but quite a bit. Basically, what I first want to tell you about is MLG support on a lot of these events. You're seeing, you can hopefully see the MLG logo in a lot of these events, such as the DF Ranbots and the Puebla versus DF logo, and what we have here, the Wars Warzone logo, which is coming back, the return of Wars Warzone. As you can see, the MLG logo. Basically, I'm going to explain what that means, guys. That means that we have support of MLG. Doesn't mean MLG is going to be present. Doesn't mean MLG is running any of these events. It means I've spoken with the director. I've got approval to use the logo. It means they're supporting what we're doing. And basically, what I'm going to be doing is, I've told people, is that I actually now I'm going to begin. I can request visa invitation letters. I'm going to request. I have a permission to request them. So what I'm going to do, there's a big event coming up, and I'm not going to really get into that until later. Until we have more specifics about it. There's a big event coming up, and I'm looking for people that are going to qualify for that event. So I'm going to be really strict about my criteria as far as who's going to qualify to go to this event to represent. And I'm going to have a certain amount of spots, and I'm going to, space it out. I'm not going to try to throw all my eggs in one basket, but I'm going to try to space it out to go and get the best. And the criteria is going to be strict. And I'm going to judge based off, results of some of these tournaments. And it's going to start with the Ranbots 3. It's going to be where I'm going to actually start looking at the results of who needs to go. And it's going to be strictly off of evaluation purposes, guys. MLG is willing to help with visa invitation letters for getting their visas, people getting their visas. So, it's going to be really strict on who can get the visa invitation letter. I want to make sure they're ready. I want to put a good show, and it's going to be based off performance. So even people like Kula, everyone's on even footing. Everyone has opportunity to prove themselves. And again, it's going to be basically for events that I'm going to be looking at. Basically coordinating, but I'll keep you posted on more of this. But Warzone is definitely one of those events. I will be there. More than likely, I'll be there as an evaluator / organizer, which leads to another thing. My role is transitioning more, because I'm figuring that now I'm seeing how difficult it is to be the world-class player that I want to be and be the world-class organizer. So, it's hard to do both. You have to pretty much make a sacrifice. And the sacrifice I'm making is choosing to be a organizer. Because in order to be a world-class player like I want to be, the amount of time I'm spending taking care of these 40 employees or so, or people that I'm helping sponsor, the amount of time spent doing all this and helping these people, and random stuff coming up, and random emergencies, which I'm going to get to later, which is going to be taken care of, random stuff, and people posting stuff on YouTube, last minute, tell me about tournaments coming up, Shadow Loose Showdown and all stuff. People telling me last minute. All this stuff is very stressful. I cannot focus on trying to be a player, top-notch player, and trying to take care of all this stuff at once. It is just not possible. It's not possible. Arturo said it best. If you get better as a organizer, you get worse as a player. You have to make one sacrifice or the other. It's like, look at it like this. As a professional basketball player, what a lot of them end up doing, they end up going to coaching, or they end up going to organizing or ownership. Knowing that, hey, at any given time, if they, and the reason they can get to that position is because they've been in the position of the gamer, they've been in the position of the player, they know how that works, they know how the system works, they've been there long enough, they have enough experience to know how it operates. Being as a player, the bottom line is, guys, and I'm just gonna cut it plank, especially in KOF, since there's so much skill all around the world, guys. So much stuff that people don't know. So many countries that people don't know, as I've informed you about, and you can clearly see that. You need to be traveling, guys. You can't be just staying at home. You can't just be playing online. It doesn't work. Hopefully I've showed you guys that. You need to be on a plane. You need to be playing people. You need to be rich. So bottom line, guys, if you want to be the best you can be, you need to be rich. You need to be able to hop a plane to Japan or Taiwan or Korea or SoCal or Mexico or anywhere. You need to be able to see as many different styles as possible, guys. And the bottom line is, in order to do that, you're going to have money. So you have to commit to it. And, for me to do that, I would have to commit solely to that, basically. And right now, with all this stuff going on with tournaments, I cannot commit to that. So I have to pretty much put that as a back step and take the role of the organizer, the manager. And when things keep going further, more in the future, I can always go back to a super professional gamer. Or, I mean, I can always do that when, I'm filthy rich. When I'm filthy rich, obviously then I can choose to be a professional gamer. I can do that and be an organizer, because then I'll be at all these places all the time. So I'm just reorganizing my focus right now. There's a lot of things, like I say, going on that as an organizer I can see that a lot of gamers don't get to see, and a lot of them will never get to see. Contracts, negotiations, a lot of stuff behind closed doors that that a lot of gamers will never get to see, because that's just all they're thinking of is they're only thinking of the next tournament, or they're thinking of one big tournament. I've been there when Evo is the big tournament of the year, and that's it. As an organizer, I see things differently. I have to inform people of that. Some of you are expecting me to try to bring everyone and their mama from LDA to Evo. That is a gamer mentality. I'm no longer thinking with a gamer mentality. I'm thinking with the organizer game mentality. And as successful as Evo is, guys, from an organizer mentality, and I've talked to other organizers, it is just another tournament. And that's the way I have to see it. I have to think about what's going to happen before Evo. I have to think about what's going to happen after Evo. For most gamers, Evo is it. They retire after, take time off. As an organizer, you cannot. You're always working on the next big thing. So I have to look past Evo. I'm going to treat Evo pretty much almost just like final round. I'm not going to try to throw everyone into it, as important as it is. I've got to think about what's going to happen after Evo. I got to think about what's going to happen before Evo. So it is just another tournament, and I have to treat it as such, guys. I have to plan it as such. I can't put all my resources into just that. I have to spread them out. So I have to have a long-term plan. I've got to pace myself. That's the things as an organizer you have to do. I can't just put all my money in there and then come back and, what's going to happen next? That's the mentality of a short-term gamer. As an organizer, you have to think long-term, years in advance. And that's what I have to see now. I have to project what's going to happen next year, the year after that. I have to think, and that's time-consuming. It's stressful. So it's hard to do that and then say, oh, I need to go to Mexico all the time just to play. I can't do that. I have an obligation as the director and future CEO/president within a few weeks, if not a month, of LDA Inc. I have that obligation now. So I have to put that first and foremost right now and, play when I can. But anytime LDA Inc. wins as a team, I win. So it really doesn't matter. Just now, instead of me going out there and doing it myself, I have other people that can do it for me. So, I mean, that's actually better to me, I think. So, so let's go over, I went over that. I want to tell you all about DF versus Juarez. We've got a logo coming soon. It's supposed to be today. LDA Zeros is in Mexico City. So we're going to try to set up with him. First to 15 versus Luis Cha and the people from Mexico City and KF13. And then the 2002 UM. We want to get some 2002 UM in because, again, that way for those people, those 2002 players that are hesitant to play 13, I'm hoping 2002 UM will be a way to lure them over. And that way, people are getting used to seeing 2002 on my channel, which I'm going to talk about. When they see far less of it, they'll say, okay, at least we got 2002 UM. I mean, yes, guys, times have changed. It's time to move on. Everyone needs to move on. I mean, Mexico DF versus Juarez, I'll be evaluating that closely for skill. I said DF Rambats 3 would be the first, but actually DF versus Juarez will be the first. I'll be evaluating it closely, as it will have the MLG logo. I will be evaluating it closely, looking at that to determine, who needs to possibly needs to go or needs to possibly represent it or get an visa invitation letter. So I will be looking at that very, very closely. But let's now talk about KO of 2002. I've made a post on this many times, guys. I'm going to get into it one moment. I'm going to bring this stuff up. Okay. I have something on Facebook right now. That's what it says. It says, listen, Latin America, and listen well. I'm getting quite annoyed by people constantly bombarding me on Facebook. People constantly bombarding me on Facebook asking, when is the next KO of 2002 event in Latin America? How many times do I have to say this, everyone? I am pretty much finished with KO of 2002. Can you guys not see that? Do I have to be more forward, any more forward? Listen, Peru, Latin America, I do not care if most of Peru is playing KO of 2002 and does not want to play KO of 13 or 2002 UM. If you want my assistance, you must. You will be playing KO of 2002 UM or KO of 13. The end. I am going to make this very clear. It is getting on my last nerve, people, bombarding me with questions about KO of 2002. If you choose not to play KO of 13 or 2002 UM, that is your loss. I am focusing on those that are playing. You can be a top player or not. I do not care. That is your loss. Please, no more questions about KO of 2002. I am getting annoyed by them. When we confirm Zales, Guatemala, all that, I will let you all know. But approach me differently. Asking about 2002 is going to get a very short response out of me. LDA Big Boss Dark Geese. Basically, guys, I'm getting quite fed up with people constantly bombarding me about questions about 2002. And, you know, I understand. I understand 2002 has been a pretty big thing of what I've been doing in the past. But it is no longer about KF 2002 anymore. KF 2002 is pretty much, in my eyes, guys, it's finished. You know, I understand other people will continue to play it, but from a corporate standpoint, I cannot focus on that right now. Remotely focus on that right now. Personal matches, maybe a tournament at a really big major, maybe, you know, something small, but there's not going to be anything given for 2002. I can't focus on that anymore. I can't focus on the people that are going to choose not to try to evolve or even attempt to play the other games. I understand everyone has their preferences. Hey, I like Latin women, love Latin women. Some people might like white women. You know, some people might like black women or prefer them overall as a whole. Everyone has their preferences. I understand that. Some people like 2002, some don't. Some like 13, some like 11. I understand that. But I'm going to put focus on guys that are going to attempt to try to play these other games. You're more marketable. The company can use you more. If you're just going to stick in your hole and play one game, well, the company is not going to have much use of you right now. Well, unless you play on 13. That's your one game. But so I've got to stick with that, guys, right now. And I've got to stick with it and support the people who are going to continue to evolve. But if they are not going to evolve, and then I really can't do much. And I'm getting pretty annoyed with the constant questions about when's the next 2002 event. I mean, it's to the point now where I'm start ignoring people talking about that. Constant ignore. Like, I'm not even gonna reply to you at all. I mean, it's getting to that point because some of you are not listening. You're very ignorant. You're very stubborn, and you don't want to listen to what I'm saying. And you think magically someday I'm gonna just put everything back like it was as of last year. Those times are gone. That was last year. Even with the Latin American Cup, guys, I want to tell you. That stuff is changing to, I'm going to make that once every 2 years instead of once every year, because as an organizer, and I told you, transitioning from player to organizer, one of the things that's been the most stressful is trying to juggle, trying to be a professional player, trying to be the organizer, and still trying, as an organizer, meet all these insane demands that are coming at unrealistic time frames, in addition to people dropping them with no disregard for myself. What I mean by that is, I've got to juggle trying to be a professional gamer at the highest level and travel. That's tough enough. With everything else going on in my own personal life, with as an organizer, trying to get these people to different places, some of these people happen to just drop stuff last minute, which I'm going to address. It will not happen again. Be it on YouTube or Facebook, people just dropping stuff last minute. You're going here, you're going there, and expect me to show up, which will not happen, or expect me to send people, which will not happen. And then I got Latin American Cup 20, with Shanghai, which let me tell you about that. That's going to cost about a good $4,000 to $5,000, and I'm going to tell you why. Because first off, Shanghai wants $1,000 himself, guys. That's right. He wants $1,000 for me to give him to come over. That's right. Let me repeat that. Shanghai wants $1,000 himself to come over, in addition to the $2,000 trip, guys. So then that's not even including me going there, getting equipment, making sure people qualify for Mexico, whatever, can make it. So we're talking a $4,000 or $5,000 trip minimum. And if that's what it's going to cost, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, you all will be paying a hefty price. You're going to be paying $30 registration. There will be a spectator fee, and it will be non-negotiable. I'm not going to do that and let you guys, just benefit off of that with nothing. There will be monetary pay for that. I'm not going to just do that and get nothing out of it. That time is over. As a head of business, it will operate differently. Period. So with all that happening, guys, it's stressful. So I'm gonna try to cut my load back, simplify it, and I'm gonna push Latin American Cup to make it every 2 years. But in the meantime, this year, try to do the Peruvian Cup with Peru, something on a smaller cup with Zeros, and have it where he goes on there. Let them go and have their little 2002. Fine, but they will play either 2002 or KF13, preferably 13. But they will agree to that. They're going to agree to cover Zeus's half of his ticket and expenses, and we're going to get it worked out where half of that money is going to go to me. It will not go to Andres or anyone else, and it's going to be cut and dry how it operates for this to happen. So that's what's going to happen right now. I want to make sure everyone knows that, because if again, $5,000 is a lot of money to come up with, and whether all these random, and I do mean random requests that people drop on my YouTube, on Facebook at any different hour, which I'm going to address that right now. Starting April 1st, as I posted up, guys, all requests must be sent to lukus at lda-corporate.com. It will be in the description. All requests for anything. That means any LDA member you want to request for money, you want to request trip, going here, I need to go here. It must be in the lukus at lda-corporate.com. No requests on YouTube or Facebook will be acknowledged. I don't care if it's an emergency or whatever. No request will be acknowledged. You will have to submit it via email. That's a professional way to do it. That's the way I'm going to do it. I'm not going to accept random, off the wall, last minute requests or even acknowledgments on YouTube or Facebook or anything else. That is very unprofessional. And it's very hard for me to plan stuff if people are dropping random requests at very odd hours and hoping and expecting that I go through. It's not going to operate that way, and this is how it's going to operate. You not only will you have to have that email, but you're going to have to give me a 2-month advance or notice early to even be considered, because I have so much on my plate, 40-something employees. And of course now, since we're having a little bit of success, let's put it like that, a lot of people want to like some of the members to show up. I understand that, but they're going to have to understand that I've got to, everyone, there's a lot of other plans. People have to understand the world does not revolve around them. For every person that's asking for an event, times that by like about 30, and you know what I have to deal with right now. So I have to manage it correctly. So you're going to have to tell me within a 2-month advance notice if anything was going up. So, people have to understand, I don't frequent these forums, guys. As I told you, I stay away from forums. I don't go to these forums. I don't know what events are happening. So when you guys come up and you post these events to me, most of you are telling me 2 to 3 weeks before it happens, or a month. Like a Shadaloo Showdown, you're telling me that probably like a month before it happens and expecting me to send someone. I don't care if Daku, Xiaohua, or God himself is there. If I'm not told in advance, I'm not going to send anyone there. Period, guys. That's just all it is to it. I don't care who's there. If I'm not told in advance, I'm not going to plan for it. I'm not going to jeopardize plans that I have with many other members and other stuff in the future for random stuff that people have popping up all the time. So you need to tell me in advance. Tell me in advance, and it increases your chances of that stuff, of getting that opportunity. If not, it will pretty much automatically be denied. And that's what I want to go over, because I've seen a lot of that. And as of April 1st, this past Sunday, that has to end. So we can get some more order, some structure, and people are going to have to understand they're going to have to wait in line. If they want these requests to happen, they're going to have to, the earlier they submit it, the better their chances, or they're going to have to get on the waiting list. Or, they send it in too late, they'll probably just spit out. Instant denial. That's how it's going to work, period. Let's see here. I've talked about Latin American Cup 2013. Instead of the next year, instead of this year. We're going to do it every 2 years. That way we can make it bigger every year, focus, something like that. Guatemala Cup 2. Working on that. Day 1 sales coming to Guatemala. But obviously for 2002. But they have to play 13/2002 win for them to get another event. Period. And that's the way we're going to alternate with that. So basically, guys, that's all I want to go over about this particular update. If you have any questions, again, let me know. And again, please beware if you post YouTube comments or are they going to this or are they going to that? Well, I'm going to come out and say no. It could be, Tournament of Gods. All top players, 13. If you can't tell me within a 2-month advance notice of it happening, I'm probably going to tell you no. And I'm going to, leave it at that. Because I'm not told in advance. I can't plan for it in advance. I've got other members I need to take care of that have been told me stuff in advance. And so that's going to be take priority. So that's basically all I need to go over, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, update, extra update. I said this wasn't going to be a mega update, but because of the material, it ended up having to be one. This is effective as of, it was supposed to be yesterday, but since I have a storm, it was a storm, pretty much messed up the internet. This is now a update for the later day. But so what I'm going to do is basically go over these bylaws. Basically, as I told you guys, I feel like the organizer stuff is taking, it's consuming my time so much that I feel like now I've graduated to the level of, pretty much full-time organizer. Or I feel like, in other words, instead of seeing things just as a gamer aspect, I can see things as a gamer, but I can also see things as an organizer's perspective. And I feel like I've graduated to the level of organizer. And basically, it's like anything else. It'd be really hard to be the top guy as a player and be the top organizer. I mean, in other words, think about like Jerry Jones. It'd be hard for Jerry Jones to be the organizer of the Cowboys and be the #1 player on his team or the NFL. I mean, it's just hard. It's very difficult. You got to choose one or the other. So I feel like I've graduated, so to speak, from just being a student and a teacher, in other words, to make an analogy, to the actual principal of the school. I mean, you can't be the principal of the school and be the teacher. I mean, if you're the principal of the school, that means you can do all the other jobs. That means you can be a student if you need to. You can be the teacher if you need to. But you're a principal because you can run everything. You understand how everything works. And so I feel like I've graduated to how I am right now. Meaning I can always go back in the future and be the super professional gamer and be the boss. But let's go over these bylaws right now because everything is changing by the process by which people are going to be qualified and be on the team. So these are the new bylaws that are in effect as you're reading it. I've already posted them on Facebook, but I told people I'm going to go over it. So let's read it and discuss it. It says LDA Inc. bylaws. It says, "Dear everyone, we are making substantial progress as a whole, and I want to thank every one of you for contributing to that. Due to this, however, the criteria for being with LDA Inc. / sponsored member must also substantially become more and more difficult. We want wearing the name LDA Inc. to mean something, to stand for excellence. Thus, we need to make sure people are actively pursuing this in harmony with the company objectives." I'm going to keep scrolling down. Okay. I think I went a little too far. Hold on. Okay. Active members, guys. Okay. What it says is we have categories. We have active members, we have borderline, and then we have inactive. And it's just, like I said, this is effect as you're reading it. Active members, that means that they rank top 8 or 3, depending on the amount of players in a tournament. If it's 16 players or less, as it should say, if it's 16 players or less in a tournament, they must rank top 3. If it's 32 or more players in a tournament, they must rank top 8. They rank so much means these people, active members, mean they rank top 8 or top 3 frequently in a tournament now or in the following: KL 13, 2002 UM, and 98 UM in that order. 2002 UM or 2002 no longer counts. So people who are active members, active LDA sponsored members, and they get to reap all the benefits of being sponsored members, basically full 100% benefits, which you're going to continue to go down with these people. That means they're ranking top 8 and top 3 and consistently. And either KL 13, 2002 UM, or 98 UM. 2002 no longer counts, which is going to affect greatly who are going to be borderline members, which is what I'm going to get into later. Ranking top 3 in KL 13 is greater than ranking top 3 in 2002, which is greater than ranking top 3 in 98 UM. This is basically due to amount of popularity right now, which games are being played right now. So obviously it's going to weigh more. So 98 UM is there, but we're going to judge the interest and see, and we're going to see what's out there. So whenever you guys are looking at, for example, on these flyers, they even have MLG's name. These games are on there, but it doesn't mean they're going to get ran. The one game that absolutely has to get ran will be 13. Help 11, who knows? May not have enough interest. Same for 2002 UM. But I'm going to put it on there. That way you see those are the games we're interested in running inside games. But if we end up running, casuals or whatever, okay, fine. But those I'm going to have to put the logo on there so people see that's the objective. Okay. All right, borderline members. Here's a very cute thing because I would say most people right now are borderline members. Okay, these people have yet to rank high in a tournament, be a Rambot, local, or what have you, and the following: KL 2002 UM, 98 UM, or KL 13 recently as the past 3 months. This means you have yet to pass one of my tests of ranking higher or ranking high in a tournament that I'm aware of. If this is incorrect, just let me know so I can confirm it. It means I will verify this with other parties. I'm not going to just take your word. I need to verify this. Look at borderline status as show me status. Personal match results will not count. Borderline members, until proven, will not receive full sponsorship benefits of active or proven members. Sponsorship for borderline members is limited too, and this will, be elaborated. I have that open because that will be edited as time goes on. This is a working document, but this is just the first draft. So, borderline members are not going to get the full sponsorship benefits of full members, and that might be limited to, a certain amount of times per 4 months that you're able to request assistance. If you're borderline, because you aren't proven, and like I say, the goal is changing. It's no longer 2002. I mean, just because you're a top member in 2002, you're probably borderline right now because you have to prove yourself in a 13, 2002 UM or 98 UM. In ranking, you have to rank as of right now in these games. You have to rank in tournaments. Personal matches no longer count. These are tournaments. These are how things are judged right now on an international level. MLG, these are tournaments. These are not exhibitions. These are tournaments. So we have to go by that standard. It is tournaments now. So we'll go by borderline status because right now most people are in borderline status. And then we are going to go to inactive. Let me go back down one moment. Excuse me. Okay, inactive. It says these members have not ranked high in a KOF 13, 98 UM, or 2002 tournament, and are not pursuing ranking high in these games, and are therefore not officially sponsored unless they are organizers / developers or are fulfilling other roles outside of game players. Inactive players are not privy to, or that's empty right now because I'm going again. It's a first draft. I'm going to edit that more, as time goes along. And it says here, for example, most players that are currently only playing 2002 will be placed in borderline status to give them a chance to cross over to playing KOF 13 or 2002 UM / 98 UM. The choice will be theirs if over a 3-month period, starting with April 1st, no progress is made in this endeavor. The status of these members will be placed to inactive. They are no longer associated with LDA Inc. and must prove themselves all over again to be sponsored. That pretty much speaks for itself. I don't think I need to elaborate on that. Let's move down. Okay, it says rule of thumb. Constant evaluation will happen over a 3-month period to determine current status of LDA Inc. sponsored members. And members can fluctuate over a 3-month period if no progress is being shown. In other words, if you're just sitting here and, playing 2002 and all of a sudden doing what the stereotypical asking me, when's the next 2002 tournament, and you're one of the members, well, your status is going to fluctuate. In other words, if you're a borderline, you're all of a sudden going to become inactive, which means then again, I'm going to say, sorry, man, I can't give you any assistance in that endeavor. You're not a sponsored member. I can't give you any assistance. So, yeah, that pretty much speaks for itself. Okay, here's the breakdown of members that we currently have right now. Well, as of today, his updates will be posted once a week, if at all possible. In Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, there are no active members because there has not been an active tournament for KOF 13 or whatever yet that I'm aware of. Everything's going to start with Juarez Warzone. That's what we're going to do. Everyone's going to go from people are going to go from borderline to active. If they rank top 3, top 3, depending on how many people enter a tournament. Again, so the top 3 will be moved to active based off Juarez Warzone, depending on how many people enter. If it's like, less than 8 people, then it's probably going to be only top 2. So it depends on how many people enter, but the criteria is going to be strict for a reason. And I told you it's because we're trying to stick to excellence. In other words, again, we want the name LDA to mean something. Obviously, domination on the world is what we want, but we want LDA to mean something. When you're getting when you get an LDA player, you're getting the best. Period. That you're getting the best. We shoot out to do nothing but win. Winning is the only thing that matters. That is our motto in that aspect with gaming. Winning is the only thing that matters. Therefore, we have to put the best product on the floor at all times. So I want to make sure we are doing that. Okay, for the USA active members, obviously Bala, which he's from Mexico, obviously. Obviously this document needs to be edited a little bit. The formatting got out of whack a little bit, but that's fine. It's still a rough draft. Bala and the answer, those are active members right now, obviously because they have ranked highly in major tournaments or in good tournaments and are consistently doing that still. So they're active. They have active sponsorships. Obviously IGL and LDA we're working out the twerks. for how's that, who's gonna use whose name and then or whatever. But if you do see IGL Bala or IGL the answer, remember again that there's still LDA. So okay, Mexicali, for what I know, it says active Juan Iori. I've heard that he has been winning tournaments in Mexicali, but correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm, again, I can always change status, but we will continue to see. Mexico City active. It should have Luis Cha in the other category. Luis Cha, Coco, El Rosa, and Brenna. They're they've ranked top 3 within the past the Dia of Ranbots. So they have their borderline Andres and Bart, because they haven't shown that they're going to play 2002 UM or 13 or 2000 or 98 UM. They haven't shown that they're going to do that. So when they haven't ranked high in the tournament, so I have them borderline. I'm trying to give them a chance to show whether they want to be sponsored in this endeavor. So that's why they're borderline, and that's fair, is it not? I think it is. Borderline status, I told you, every 3 months will be reviewed. Okay, here we go. Puebla, active, obviously Bala, because that's where he's from. Puebla, Bala is active. Borderline, Kula, because Kula again, yes, Kula may be the man in 2002, but 2002 right now does not hold any weight. As I told you, doesn't mean anything. So he has to prove himself again, like everyone else, in KO 13. And he needs to rank highly in a KO 13 tournament as of recently to become full active member. That's fair to everyone. I think it's fair. Performance is how you're going to be judged. So Kula is not exempt from that, like anyone else. So obviously Bala, obviously Bala is there already. It's active. That is obvious. So I don't think anyone has anything to about that. Should be Peru next column, but again, the is the formatting has been messed up a little bit. The borderline, you see, they're all borderline. Borderline, Toshi, Javier Joker, Don Diamond, Cesar Dash. I need to get more information, and I'm gonna do more research as time goes on, and as I'm arming some of them with equipment to run their own tournaments on a consistent basis. As time goes on, I need to see if any of them are playing. They have a 3-month period, to go out and get out of borderline status, or they will be moved to inactive. Because again, 2002 does not matter, and I don't care if everyone Peru's playing 2002. Again, I don't care about any of that. Stop to ask me about when is the next 2002 tournament. From this point on, if you ask me about it, more than likely, if it's YouTube, the comment's going to be deleted. If it's Facebook, you're going to be ignored. You just keep asking me about that, because that's not the focus I'm going with. I've told y'all many times that is not the focus we're going to. And if you want to continue to disregard that, then I'm going to disregard you. And so that's what's going to happen with that. So those are the people in Peru that are on the borderline status. For Sinaloa, we have a borderline Cannibal, because we have a tournament coming up, I believe in May. Hype Mania, where Cannibal will be able to show his worth, prove himself. He's got to prove himself like everyone else, guys. Everyone's got to prove themselves, guys. Everybody. Doesn't matter what your name is. You are on an equal footing unless you've proven yourself. You have to prove yourself. You have got to earn that LDA name. You've got to earn it. You've got to fight for it now. It's got to be earned. So yeah, Cannibal's gonna have to prove himself as well, and with Hype Mania, and I might be seeking one of my proven members, like Luis Cha or whatever, there to prove, to see how things are. So and Leon, active. We have borderline Abraham, same thing. He's gonna have to prove himself in one of the games as well. Everyone has to prove themselves, guys. Just because you are a top dog in 2002, that means absolutely nothing now. If anything, that just puts you as borderline status. That means you're in borderline status. You got to prove yourself. So, like everybody else. Moving on, we have Brazil, borderline Cabacinha. Morocco, borderline Freezer. We're going to, work things. Again, get these people opportunities to prove themselves. Chihuahua, Mexico, borderline Ivan and Danny. We've got to have a tournament for them to be able to prove themselves. And again, proving themselves again, guys, means not getting, if it's a 10-man tournament, getting top 5 isn't going to cut it. You got to get top 3. That's a proving yourself. I told you the criteria is strict, and it is strict for a reason, because we want to put the best foot forward, period. So just keep that in mind. Chile, we don't have anyone there because we're working, again, I've got to gather more information. Argentina, we have borderline Diaz, because he's a 2002 player, but he needs to prove himself as a 2002 UM/13/98 UM player. And yes, Diaz, I'm still going to get you the t-shirt for Team Latin America, as I promised. Just give me time. As you see, I have a lot on my plate. So in Guatemala, borderline, to be determined. look at that. These people are going to play 2002 UM90, UM13. I'm going to give them the chance also. But again, they're going to have to prove themselves. And again, I'm going to constantly send a lot of tests to you guys, other players that are active, to prove themselves, for you to test yourself, to prove yourself. You're gonna have to prove yourself on a consistent basis. You gotta earn the LDA name, and you gotta consistently earn the LDA name. So just because you've done it once doesn't mean you're gonna keep it. I told you, reviews will be done on a 3-month period. Your status can change in a 3-month period. So you gotta keep it. You gotta keep that status, guys, because I want to consistently know that I'm sending the best people when I send them anywhere from here on out. And this will be a way of checking that and making sure that I'm sending the best people for whenever I do send them to some of these places. And then we have staff members, or somewhat staff depending. It's a depending staff that I use. If I'm not anywhere or whatever. We have active right now. We have Luis Chop from Mexico City, and we have Mamaro from Chile. He's working on the visas. So some of the staff I have now, we were still, borderline. I have, Fred Slasher, Dan Diamond. I'm working with you guys. I've got to, as I continue to talk to you guys and find your roles, we'll be able to, give you more delegations of staff. And we're still going through more process of delegating staff members. So that's basically all I wanted to go over today, guys. In addition to what I also said, if you have any questions, please let me know, guys. But that's about it. All right, guys. Bye. Remember, KO 2002 no longer counts. Everyone must prove themselves all over again. Personal matches also don't count. It's what you do come tournament time.